I'd like to welcome you to the Water Pollution Control Authority and regular Town Council meeting of North Branford on Tuesday, November 19th at 6:32. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Angeloni.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Present.
Councilor Ableton.
Here.
Councilor Diamond.
Here.
Councilor Miller.
Here.
Councilor Palladino.
Here.
Councilor Panicia.
Here.
And Councilor Santana.
Here.
Okay, the next item is minutes of previous meetings. Do I have a motion to accept the October 15th, 2024 WPCA and Town Council minutes?
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. The next one is the minutes from the October 22nd, 2024 special meeting of the Town Council. It was a hybrid meeting via Zoom and also at the North Branford PD conference room.
Motion.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. On to the WPCA. Citizen statements regarding WPCA. Nothing. There's no unfinished business. New business discussion and action. There's one item, and I asked to have this put on the agenda. I've talked to our state rep, Vinnie Candelora, to ask him if there was any state money available, if he thought there was any state money available for sewer installation. We just did the study last year with ARPA funds, and he said to, if we were interested in that, he thought that there was money available, there would be money available to send him the report that was done last year, and he would look at it and present it and then come back to us if there's any funding available, and then we can talk about it. So we just need a motion to...
Motion.
Make a motion.
As stipulated. Oh, sorry. Second.
Okay, the motion has been made to send the report to Representative Candelora by Councilor Palladino, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Discussion?
I have a question for Mike. Are there any federal funds available, or does that still go through Candelora?
Well, that would be a separate inquiry. We could certainly investigate it. I don't know of any offhand.
I've heard that there are federal funds available
Okay.
for projects. So it's just something to look into.
Right. Could certainly look into it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Any citizen statements regarding WPCA? All right. Moving on to community events and presentations. The first one is Medal of Honor for Corporal Thomas Pacelli. Chief Lovelace, would you like to come forward?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council, for allowing us to be here tonight to give out this prestigious award. And thank you to Representative Candelora. I'd like to join you up here. Always been a strong advocate, not only of the North Branford community, but the police department, as well as law enforcement across the street. We appreciate your partnership. It's truly an honor to give it. So we don't give awards out often. We take for granted, not only as a department, but I think as a community, the actions our officers do every day, day in and day out. But this action obviously stood out above the rest. On August 19th, Corporal Pacelli, who is a member of the South Central Regional Tactical Team, was called to an incident in North Haven. Now, being a member of the team myself for years to come, these calls come in. You never know who they are. You're out to dinner with your wife, your family, you're watching a movie with your kids. Will you always answer the call? Not knowing what lays ahead. So on that day, He was deployed with the South Central Regional SWAT team, and this Medal of Honor is recognition for his exemplary bravery, selflessness, dedication to duty during a high-risk operation in the town of North Haven. He was deployed with his team to respond to an armed, barricaded suspect. As the situation escalated, Corporal Selly was assigned the critical task of executing an explosive breach of the doorway, a technique for which he is specifically certified. Despite the imminent threat while under direct fire from the suspect, Corporal Caselli and a fellow officer fearlessly carried out their mission, ensuring the safety of their team without sustaining any physical injuries. Through his courageous actions, Corporal Caselli upheld the highest standards of law enforcement, demonstrating extraordinary valor in the face of danger. His heroism not only safeguarded the lives of his fellow officers, but also reflected an unwavering commitment to public safety. For his exceptional conduct, Corporal Caselli is hereby awarded the Medal of Honor.
And just to add, we are giving him a state citation from behalf of the General Assembly. It was introduced by myself, Senator Cohen, and Senator Ciccarella. They both did not make it tonight, but they extend your congratulations. And it's signed by Martin Looney, Matt Ritter, Speaker of the House, and Secretary of State. Congratulations.
Corporal Caselli, not only to thank, but these events not only affect the officers or the department, but it's important to recognize the family as well. So thank you to the family in the years supporting through this incident. Next up is a commendation medal for Officer Matthew Hannon. Officer Hannon, who also serves on the South Central Regional Tactical Team, not in recognition of this incident, but he was involved in, on September 28th, our 911 center received a call for a motor vehicle accident versus an ATV. Officer Hannon responded to a motor vehicle accident. Upon arrival, he found a juvenile who sustained severe injuries, including an arterial bleed that required immediate medical intervention. Demonstrating exceptional composure and proficiency in emergency care, Officer Hannon applied a tourniquet to the juvenile's leg, effectively stopping the bleeding and stabilizing the victim until further medical assistance could arrive. According to the John McFarland, lead supervisor at AMR Company 4, Officer Hannon's swift actions directly saved the juvenile's life. His ability to remain calm under pressure and his life-saving intervention reflected the highest standards of law enforcement service. For exemplary performance in life-threatening situation, Officer Hannon is rightfully awarded the commendation.
And we also have a citation from the state, introduced by myself and Senator Ciccarella and Senator Cohen, congratulating you on your efforts, all you did to save that life, and it's signed by the President of the Senate, Speaker of the House, and Secretary of the State.
On behalf of the town council, I would like to congratulate both Officer Hannon and Corporal Caselli for their work, and it's great to be honored in a setting like this in front of the council. and we greatly appreciate everything that you do for our town. Thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation from Eagle Scout Bailey Salemi about her Eagle Scout project that she is proposing for the Miller Barn. And we have pictures in our packet of what the project is, just so that when she talks about it, you'll be able to follow along. It starts on page 20 of our packet. Okay, Bailey.
Great. Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm from Troop 6424, and I'm here to talk about my Eagle project that I've been planning. I've been working together with my third grade teacher, who's the president of the Totucket Historical Society, to display some of North Branford's history. I plan to use a hay rake that was donated and build a display for it. My project will be built at the North Branford Atwater Library in front of the white barn that sits on the front lawn. Why I'm doing this project is I want to bring some of North Branford's history back. I've always liked history class, and I love learning about the history of America. And now I can teach people about North Branford's history through my Eagle project. The reason the project is important to me is because of my family history. My dad's side of my family has roots in North Branford that go back to the early 1900s and maybe even earlier. There were farmers who worked on the land for many years. I'm really interested in learning more about my family and where I come from in North Branford's past. And by looking into records and stories, I hope to see how my family's history connects to the town history. And then on the next slide, there's pictures of my family in a book about North Branford. The timeline, I'd say a little more than half of it is already finished. November 1st through February of 2025, I plan to complete the project plan, and January through March 2025, I like to start fundraising and coordinate with Public Works by then. And March through April of 2025, I'd like to execute the plan, and my estimated project duration is 1 week or less.
That's great.
Okay. All right. Do any of the council members have any questions for Bailey while she has the floor?
Good job, Bailey.
Thank you.
Well presented.
Thank you.
So Bailey, just so that you know, we have a few more things to attend to on the agenda, and then we will take a vote on this. It's probably going to be another maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes on the agenda. So if you just want to wait until that time, you're the first item under new business that we will take the official vote on the project.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay? All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Okay. The next item is update from Emily Higgins from East Haven Animal Control, and I believe this has to be tabled because she was unable to make the
Right,
meeting.
she'll be back in December.
Okay, great. Okay, on to reports of committees, boards, and commissions. First one is Economic Development.
The Economic Development Committee had a meeting November 4th, and they will be organizing 2 annual events similar to the Restaurant Month in Business under the Big Tent. Rex consultant Dale was present to provide guidance on business retention efforts. Moving forward, they will focus on supporting 1 business each month as part of their retention strategy. That's all I have for now. Next meeting is December 2nd.
Okay, thank you. Park and Recreation, the October meeting was canceled due to lack of quorum, and if needed, they will hold a special meeting in December. Police Commission?
Of course, there's a number of things on tonight's agenda, so I don't have to go over those. But one of the discussions in the beginning was about the having a third-party engineer now who's studying the heating and cooling system at the facility, and hopefully going to come up with a report, I guess, in about 3 or 4 weeks, my understanding. just so everyone knows, the police department will once again be participating in Libby's Toy Drive, which I think is wonderful. In addition to that, this police department will be hosting a photo exchange with Santa Claus on December 7th. They'll be collecting gifts for Make-A-Wish and collecting food for the North Branford Food Pantry. The request for the Dodge Durango, I know is on the agenda. Also, Deputy Chief Pendleton talked about the 2019 Key Bank robbery, that after 5 years it would just go away and the person would be free, but fortunately we have a wonderful police department detective bureau now that was able to solve the crime and the person was arrested. The other thing that I found very troubling, and the deputy chief wanted to make people aware, is the fraud that could happen. There was a resident in town that actually lost $28,000 in cash because of a scam, fraud. And I think the police department wants to do more to inform people about what happens. I know I get those all the time too. We have to all be careful of the kinds of things that we get on the internet and phone calls. That's about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Fire Commission?
Fire Commission met on November 7th at Company 4. There was a recognition at premiere as on private board service. There was also supposed to be one for Ron Raphael, but he was not available, so that was tabled. They also received communication from the Midless Duty and the Duty family for their support of Michael Duty and upon his passing, and appreciate everyone paying tribute to their dad. Thought that was important to bring up. Went through several pieces of unfinished business, the drug and alcohol policy and the pension committee statistics. The pension committee fiscal year end, June 30, 2020, were distributed for the board, the 83 qualified members. So they went through that with vice chair, and then discussion action of the 2025 meeting schedule. Next meeting is set for, I believe, December. Anthony, keep me honest on this. I don't know that date. December 3rd? 5th. Oh, 5th. December 5th. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
All right. Planning and zoning?
They meet this Thursday.
Okay. Finance subcommittee. Finance subcommittee met last Tuesday. There are several items on the agenda tonight, but we also started off our meeting with Adam Canosa from our Permanent Project Building Committee, came and talked to us about the bond process and how we may, on future projects going forward, what we can do to try and lessen some of our interest costs. And he's very willing to work with Anthony and help us. This is what he does in his business. He's very well versed in this, and I think he would be an asset to use that resource. So moving forward, we'll be talking with Adam and having him give us some information in regards to this. The CIP plan is on our agenda later for talking about, and the financial report is also part of our agenda, and we set our meeting schedule for next year also. Next item is Public Safety Communications Subcommittee.
No report.
Okay. Inland Wetlands.
Inland Wetlands is meeting tomorrow night, and the main item on the agenda is the athletic storage facility.
Okay. All right, Blueprint Committee.
Meets this Thursday.
And where's that meeting at?
Atwater.
Atwater, okay. At what time? 7?
7.
Just so people
7,
are aware.
7 p.m. at Atwater Library.
Right, okay. All right, on to Town Manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. As the council is aware, we haven't had a significant rainfall in over a month, and the state has been under numerous red flag alerts due to extended dryness and wind, producing an elevated risk of wildfire catching and spreading. On October 26th, we issued a 14-day burn ban and extended it another 14 days on November 12th. This ban suspends the issuance of burn permits and requires those holding them to refrain from burning until the ban is lifted. In addition, residents are asked not to use any outdoor grills, fire pits, campfires, etc. Residents are asked to be vigilant concerning the following activities, which are the most common causes of wildfire ignition: discarded smoking materials, ATV and UTV activity, especially without spark arresters, dragging trailer chains, use of outdoor grills, campfires, power tools, and equipment that generate heat or spark. There is rain predicted this Thursday, but it's unknown if it will be sufficient to remove the risk, and we'll continue to monitor this. Once again this year, we have a tractor with pumpkins and hay bales out on display in front of Town Hall, thanks to Cliff Potter, who is here tonight, for arranging the seasonal display again ahead of Thanksgiving, which highlights our farm culture and agricultural roots here in North Branford. North Branford voters came out in force for early voting 2 weeks leading up to the election and on Election Day, November 5th. Early voting was utilized by 3,860 North Branford voters, with 389 absentee ballots cast, 5 military ballots, 9 overseas ballots, and 218 same-day registration ballots cast. North Branford has 10,080 registered voters, a total of 8,535, which is 84.6% of North Branford's voters cast a ballot in the 2024 election. And that's over 4% higher than the last presidential election. Special thanks to our town clerk, Lisa Valenti, and her staff, our registrars, and the volunteers who are dedicated so much of their time to ensure that we had a safe, effective, and accurate vote here in North Branford. The Veterans Day Lunch at Stanley T. Williams, our annual Veterans Day Luncheon, was put on by the North Branford Parks, Rec, and Senior Center staff at Stanley T. Williams Community Center on Thursday, November 7th. 2 local veterans were honored with presentations of quilts from Quilts of Valor by Chuck Larkins of the North Branford Veterans Service Commission, Kathy Poston, a veteran of the U.S. Army, and Cliff Potter, a veteran of the U.S. Army, Army Guard, and Air National Guard. Both received personalized quilts, for them to commemorate their service to our nation. I was pleased to join Mayor Angeloni, Deputy Mayor McMillan, Public Works Director Fran Marola, and Deputy Public Works Director Dan Celentano in serving over 80 guests to this great annual event. Thanks to our Parks and Recreation and Senior Center staff that made this event possible. Jessica Tano, Carrie Haynes, Jess Cave, Kathy Poston, Sarah Brown, and Chef Tony DeLizio, of course. Many thanks to all the participating town departments for our 3rd annual Halloween decorating contest. Our guest judges, Mayor Rose Angeloni, Deputy Mayor Jeff McMillan, and Councilor Marie Diamond, did the rounds, evaluated all their work, and arrived at the following awards. First place went to Park and Recreation. Prize is a $100 gift certificate from Bobby's Pizza. Second place, the Assessor's Office with the Jaws theme. Prize $80 gift certificate to Stewards of the Land. Third place was the Tax Collector's Office with the Hocus Pocus theme, with a prize of $50 in Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. And special recognition was a tie between the Finance Department and the Town Clerk's Office. A prize split between them, $50 in gift certificates to Angiolo's Pizza. Congratulations to all the winners, and thanks once again to our councilor judges. This year, our annual tree lighting ceremony will be held on Friday, December 6th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Auger Park, 290 Forest Road, Northford. The event is free and features holiday festivities, including ice carving, marshmallow toasting, hay rides, cookies and cocoa, and of course, Santa. Free shuttle service will be provided from North Branford Intermediate School at 654 Foxen Road, which will run continuously from 5:45 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. This year, there is a raffle being conducted to become Santa's helper to help him light our holiday tree. Tickets can be purchased for $1 per ticket at Stanley T. Williams Community Center during regular hours through December 2nd. The drawing will be held on December 3rd, and winners will be notified. We're also making available limited edition collectible holiday tree ornaments of $5 each at the tree lighting ceremony. We've also added a fireworks display at the end of the tree lighting ceremony made possible through generous donations of sponsors. It should be noted that this item was added before we experienced the drought conditions, red flag alerts, and issued our burn ban due to concerns over potential wildfire catch and spread. We are finally expecting some rain later this week, but as we don't know if it's sufficient to reduce the risks, we'll continue to monitor it, and if conditions do not improve sufficiently, the fireworks will be postponed and the sponsors can either get their donation refunded or carried over for next year's celebration. Our Thanksgiving Day luncheon is at Stanley T. Williams. Again this year, it'll be held Thursday, November 21st, noon. This is an event I look forward to each year. We're adding fireworks to it this year. No, I'm just kidding. If any members of the council would like to attend, just please let me know. We've received our first shipment of 3x5 outdoor town flags, and we'll be making them available to the public shortly. Residents can purchase these flags for $40 a piece by check or cash in my office, and we're exploring ways to facilitate purchasing online with pickup at Town Hall. As you know, we're undergoing a state-mandated revaluation process, and we are at the phase where letters of the new valuation will be sent out this week to residents. As we expected, home prices have jumped since our last revaluation in 2020. Our median increase in North Branford is 36%, which is consistent with other communities statewide. An increase in value does not translate into a tax increase. When the council sets the mill rate in the next budget cycle, the mill rate will be adjusted accordingly. The revalue notice has contact information to set up a meeting with an appraiser from the revaluation company. Homeowners should know that there are further appeals available on an assessment they may disagree with, beginning with the Board of Assessment Appeals in March of 2025. Again, there's a frequently asked questions section about revaluation on the front page of our website to answer any questions residents may have, and our assessor's office is also available to handle any inquiries. Our assessor, David Ambrose, will be at your December meeting to discuss the revaluation further. The council will recall that we gave the go-ahead for the Totucket Historical Society to initiate its renovation of the Little Red Schoolhouse. If you've been following them on Facebook, you will see that the renovations are going quite well, with the roofing fully replaced, siding completed, and it has been painted red again. The windows are being worked on, and then it will be onto the doors and the shutters. If you've not had a chance to see the progress, swing by the location in front of Edward Smith on Old Post Road. The East Shore District Health will be conducting a flu clinic at their location at 688 East Main Street in Branford, November 26th from 3 o'clock to 5 p.m. We had another successful electronics recycling event on November 2nd, provided by our Solid Hazardous Waste and Recycling Committee in association with Take Two Recycling and our team at Public Works. We collected 13,231 pounds during this event. Our final leaf collection this year will be at the Public Works facility on Forest Road, Saturday, November 23rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Commercial vehicles are not permitted to drop off. In observance of the Thanksgiving holiday, town offices will be closed Thursday and Friday, November 28th and 29th. Those with business to transact in our offices should plan accordingly. Also, this is a trash holiday. Refuse collection on or after the holiday will be collected one day later. And as this is our last meeting before the Thanksgiving holiday, I want to take this opportunity to wish all of you and our residents a happy Thanksgiving. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, on to Permanent Project Building Committee report.
The building is, for the North Branford Police Department, building is complete. Minor punch list items remain. The HVAC, Councilor Diamond mentioned, we do have the third-party consultant engaged, and the report is expected by the end of the month. North Branford High School, the temporary certificate of occupancy for the gymnasium was issued today. QA&M and Gilbane are working through the punch list for the final phases, and some work has been scheduled during the holiday break. And North Branford Intermediate School, majority of the base project is complete. They're working on some punch list items, and the Stanley T. Williams Community Center Pavilion permits are in process of being obtained. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, on to the next item on the agenda is citizen statements, petitions, and correspondence.
I thought you had the microphone adjusted for Scott. Cliff Potter, Northford. I want to start with an apology. I made some inappropriate comments, and I want to apologize to Bruce. I know we worked it out, but it wasn't in the best of taste. A comment, what you see out there on the green couldn't happen without other people. I did 5 minutes of worth of work and aimed the lights in the dark, and that was it. Ryan Van Wilgen always comes through with the tractor, and Brian Auger Farms always provides the hay bales. So it's not a me project, it's a community project. So, and I enjoyed doing it. Really, it's, wait till you see the Christmas lights. Now they're going to be something else too. More to follow. Going to hit you with another military term. I'm sure he's familiar with it. It's called a sit-rep. And I think it needs to be applied to some of these town committees. The definition I've looked up on the internet, of course the internet's never wrong. A type of status report that provides a concise overview of the current situation. I don't think we have that in a couple of the commissions here in town. I try to do my homework before I go to like a public hearing at planning and zoning. There's no continuity. I went to the chief of police first, and I said, this is a safety issue. You can't have a dark town at night, and he agreed. But nobody had approached his department. He has to work through the commission. And so there's a lot of holes in the process, and they need to be patched up. There's got to be more documentation. There's got to be face-to-face meetings. An 8.5 by 11 piece of paper isn't adequate. You need to face the people that you're going to affect by the regulation, get their input, and then you can make wise decisions. They've dragged this hearing out for 3 months, and I don't know who's making the decisions, but they're not good decisions. Mr. Palumbo, I don't know if he's back in the... He gave a very good talk. He's a 24/7 operation. What do you want him to do? Moving trucks in the dark and running over people? Used car dealer. If you shut his lights off, what's he going to have when he gets there in the morning? Nothing. So again, I don't think the people making the decisions are actually approaching the people that are should be giving them information. And not just a 5-minute conversation. Have a pre-meeting before you pass regulations. I mean, the citizens have been very proactive, but you're asking them to show up again for the 3rd time. They're just going to do what they want pretty soon. They're going to disregard. So we need to tighten up commissions. And this is not the first time you heard it from me, and it probably won't be the last. Because we got good people, the volunteers, but I don't think they're following a good process. You can't wait till you're just ready to pass the regulation to ask for input. You got to have input months ahead, do studies. And what really blew us away was the fact that this is an Audubon Society regulation, so the birds can migrate. That came from a non-regulated commission. So again, they're trying to help the people, but not necessarily working well. So I'd like to see either something from the town lawyer, have a sheet, what you do. Okay, you want to change your regulation. Number one, identify who's it going to affect. Ask for input from those people and the people that have to implement the rules. And, start a regular checklist. Just don't wait till the public hearing to hear this stuff for the first time. And I think we can all be more productive that way. That's something I'd like to see. And again, I want to thank the town in general. It's a great place to live. My wife was in on this caper to get me involved with Chuck. I was very humbled, but I was very honored and so glad Kathy was recognized as well. And again, I keep telling everybody, if you don't live in North Branford, you're really missing out. It's a great town. Nobody stays within their job description. I think Rose does everything, all above and beyond. All you guys do, you give your time. Franny, everybody. I mean, it's just not a one job title town. Everybody covers everybody's back, and we get a lot of good things done. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizen statements? Okay, moving on to resignations and appointments. We'd just like to recognize the resignation of Ron Onofrio from the Board of Fire Commission, and we thank Ron for his service on the Fire Commission. The next is appointment of Detective Massimo Paroli to the Pension Committee as a regular member for a term expiring December 1st, 2025. This is to fill a vacancy specifically for the police department. There's a regular member and an alternate, and they did not have anyone. So I also would like to thank Craig Miller as union president for getting us some names and getting people to fill those positions. So do I have a motion to accept the appointment?
Motion accept.
Second. Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. The next is appointment of Sergeant Corey Lemons to the Pension Committee as an alternate member for a term expiring December 1st, 2025.
Motion is stipulated.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. The next is appointment of Ed Pernier to the Board of Fire Commissioners to fill the vacancy of Ron Onofrio effective December 1st, 2024, and the term expires December 1st, 2027.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next item, unfinished business, discussion and action. First item is proposed North Branford High School Athletic Storage Building. And Superintendent Schoonmaker and I see John Florio are here, so if you'd like to come up.
Thank you. Before we get into this, I just want to recognize the joint effort of the council in this North Branford Public Schools for their food pantry. We were able to raise over and donate over 600 pounds through this joint effort, and through Community Roundup another 400 pounds. So for Thanksgiving, the holiday season, many families will benefit from the generosity of the community and the partnership of the school and the council. So thank you, and we look forward to future opportunities to do this. We've been before you. I don't think there's any things that you're not aware of that we haven't discussed. There were some things that were requested of us. I did put a small packet together and sent it over to Michael yesterday. And you did receive 3 purchase orders and for materials, and you have a letter from DFG Electric, Mr. Mark DeLongo, who was generously offered $22,000 of hardware and service for all electrical, lighting, wiring, boxes, anything and everything you need. I spoke with him again yesterday, and he said anything else that you need above that, do not hesitate. I also just received a $5,000 donation from the president of the North Branford Head Foundation, which is above and beyond what we expected. I'm still waiting on a definitive answer. I know that Fran Marola has worked with Tilcon and is waiting to hear back on their donation amount for the concrete. John has additional documentation signed off for donations from, I believe, VP Electric, I believe Colombo Trucking, I believe Mr. Al Rose.
Thank you.
For
Thank you.
not only supervision, but also for donation of manpower. John Florio will GC the project. I vetted him, he is qualified. And Al Rose is donating over a few weeks, so I know John's probably in the process. He's done the lion's share of the legwork. Been putting all of the permits together. He'll be at the meeting tomorrow night and Thursday, I believe, for zoning and wetlands.
Tomorrow, zoning our applications are been accepted. When those all the details of the parking zones.
So what you have is the $83,000 of purchase orders for the 23-24 school year. And those for all materials, supplies, everything that will go into it. And now with these generous donations, the project will be less than that. So we're anxious to get going. We've returned 3 of the trailers. I shared pictures the last time I was here with the storage that we had. Those will go back. Those will save us thousands of dollars each year. They will be climate controlled, this building. We pulled the heating system out of the greenhouse, so we will have heating out there, and we have some of the air conditioning units from the old high school as well. So we'll be able to climate control it and keep everything preserved out there. There's a number of other things that we want to discuss with you. It's not at this point, but there's some other exciting opportunities back there that we want to continue to pursue. And this is the first thing we want to get off the shelf before we pull along with the next 2 projects.
Okay, so the motion that the council made originally in July, one of the parts of that motion, which we shared with you, was that we needed a budget and all the funding sources. And I haven't seen a budget yet. I've seen the 3 purchase orders on here, but from these 3 purchase orders, I can't tell that this is complete because I don't see anything in here about a roof. Because the Rings End
Roof
purchase.
materials included in the Rings End price.
So if you have specific questions about anything like that, you can ask John. He's my moving budget. He's
Well-
a walking, talking
The
budget.
materials, the material list you got there from Rings End includes everything we need to build the building. The trusses, plywood, protection 111, all the studs, all the roofing materials.
Well,
Rings End is the only vendor who has held their price and will continue to hold their price until we do the job, which I appreciate. We do a lot of work with Rings End. We actually purchase stuff from Rings End all year long for our wood shop. They're always willing to work along with us. Touchstone Doors is a local company that we contract for all of our overhead door work, which we have many in the school systems. Again, he's also holding his price on the overhead doors. You have the list there from the concrete. That was if we went strictly with our concrete contractor, and he supplied the concrete and the labor. As the superintendent said, Fran Marola is in contact with Tilcon, who said they are on board with the project. We don't know if they're going to donate partial some of the concrete, all the concrete. We don't know at this point. Our concrete contractor said if the concrete is donated, this price would be $143 a yard to do the labor, which is about going right up there.
So what would that put his contract at?
What's that?
What would that put his contract at?
That will put his contract at $12,000.
Okay.
So as you see, the numbers are coming down as we get donations, as we get people who want to get on board with the project. The budget is strictly materials. We have the labor force. We have the volunteer labor force as well. Our electrical costs have just been negated by 2 electricians here in town. So,
There also is a roofing company, I don't want to put BP Electric on, but there was a commitment from a roofing company as well to do all the roofing work and donate that time and materials.
the whole idea of this project was to be a hands-on project for the students, a learning experience. That's what the plan always was. The students will be involved in building this building. Of course, it will not be up on the roof, but most of your work is down on the ground, framing the walls, doing that kind of stuff, and observing how the foundation goes in. You know, how the actual building is being built, how the wiring is being done. We want the kids to get their hands dirty, but of course we're going to keep them safe. It's not going to get any more dangerous than them working on tables, walls, and drill presses in the wood shop.
A majority of it will be done in the new wood shop. Al Rose toured that the other day with Dave Plumbo, and they're aware of it, the Vermont Project Committee, of what we're looking to do on the ground in preparation for materials and then transporting objects.
So we have Al Rose and Ken Newbeck have both volunteered to, they even said they would GC the project. That's part of what I would like to do, or what I would like to do with this project. But they're on board for the teaching of all the construction part of the building. They're both on board. They both said, anything I need, just ask, and I will receive. So I appreciate their help immensely.
Seems like a nice coming together of the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone involved will be recognized. Every single person involved will be recognized.
Well, so I was at the Board of Ed meeting last month where the Board of Ed approved the budget. So do you, whatever was provided to the board as your budget, because I didn't see a copy of that, can the council get a copy? Did they receive anything?
Of the budget for this?
Yeah. Did they actually receive a budget?
The same thing that you got.
Okay.
So purchase orders, what that encompassed, any donations, they're 100% behind it, in favor of it. And
Right.
They're ready to roll with this project.
Well, it's not that we're against it. The problem that I have is that this was not budgeted by either department, Board of Education or the town council. So if we don't have a budget to show us what all of the costs are and the funding sources for them, the problem that could happen is if we start the project and there's some problems along the way and there's no money or there's no donations to finish the project, then it falls on the town and we don't have this budgeted. And on any town project that we have seen, we get a budget. And I have not seen a budget
Just,
for this.
But the $83,000 is your budget. Everything is included in there.
Well, you can't tell
We
that
have
by the
additional-
purchase orders.
we have
I'm sorry.
additional monies.
You can't tell that by the purchase orders.
But that's what, it's,
You-
four
you-
walls and a roof with yours, you have the list, there is the material.
So, well, on the purchase order for brings that.
I have a 14-man crew. If we want to put the building up without any help at all we need is the materials. My guys are getting paid by the Board of Ed. So there is no additional cost other than the materials we need to purchase.
So would it suffice if we
We have not done this for other projects in the past. For the ticket house, for
Well,
the booth, we did not come to you for money. We're not coming to you for money. We're not asking for money. We're saying to you, we have done our homework. We have additional monies. We have too much money. You may get some money back. At the end of last year, 23-24, we were directed not to put money into the 2% 425 account, and that's what we did. In June, we spent down and we prioritized. We put in for ARPA, we put in for capital, we got rejected in both, okay? So we wanted this to come out of capital funds to do the storage that we desperately needed. We didn't get it. We didn't get it for ARPA as well. The town did other things with the money that they thought were more important. I'm not gonna go there.
Well, the Board of Ed did not, the Board of Ed asked about ARPA funds and they did not vote to move it
We
forward.
submitted for both. So what we're saying to you now is we're not asking for any money. The Board of Ed supports it 110%. It's a school-based project. We don't need any money from you. Okay? We're not asking you for anything. We're saying we'll probably have a surplus of money.
So I don't understand what the confusion is. What's so difficult of just doing an itemized list of a budget? Boom,
You
boom,
have
boom. Well,
You have the lumber list from Rings End, you have the concrete company,
You have the drawings.
and you have the overhead door.
I think what he's saying is, I think the council may find it, I'm okay with this candidly, so, but I think if we had consolidated version that you've put together, I know you've piecemealed it together with the various, POs as well as, the list from Rings End. Maybe if we can, I know it'll take a little time out, but just put it into one sheet. I wonder if the council would be okay approving this with consideration of it coming back.
That's, I was gonna ask, do we need to vote on this? Do we, as the council, basically on the information that we have in front of us right now, can we vote on this?
So my question to you would be, if any other department in town came to you for a project, whatever the cost is, and did not give you a budget, would
But
you
they
approve
did-
that?
But they have given us,
Twice.
they gave it to us. But most of it is all, but I'm sorry, Scott, a lot of this is donated time and money and materials. So they really can't, even though it was it's $90,000, quote, as far as you've given us a number. And I understand what the mayor is saying, is that, is it gonna, because there's no number, a bottom line number for this, it can't come back to us to request any more funds because of, it just can't. And I understand, I get it, I really do. But based upon what you've just given us, that's the budget. Because there's money, what they're saying is there's too much money. So there's really, you probably have $130,000 in materials and labor. That is more than enough to do this.
Right. All the electrical hardware, everything.
Is all donated. So that's what I'm saying is, are we able to vote on this now? So they can move forward with this?
We've already seen all the electrical supplies that are going to be donated, we've already seen them.
We'll
put aside
approve the
for us.
application that comes back to us.
We're not asking for anything. We will not come back and ask you for anything.
So if you can't, and you can't take it out, you can't take it out of some
We're not asking you
mysterious
for money. We're
fund.
not asking you for money. We're asking you to let us
I have
build
to
the
say.
building on town
Well,
property.
but we don't have control
Rose,
over that.
I get it. Rose,
We don't
I'm
have
with-
control over that.
I-
So that's,
Well, we do.
no,
don't we?
well, you just said they can't take it out of a mysterious fund. We don't have
We
control
don't
over that.
control the board.
Yeah, you don't
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
If I didn't trust John Florio to price out a 2,400 square foot box with 5 garage doors to save us thousands of dollars each year, then there's a problem here. If
Well,
you haven't
but-
seen-
Because it just.
Well, the other issue is this has to also go out to bid. So I know you encumbered the money with the purchase orders.
I think there's 2 gentlemen here that want to write a check, right?
No,
Yeah.
no, I think to the mayor and deputy mayor, I know you guys said it has to come to the permanent project, so why don't we get a schedule of values for you guys? If you want us to kind of weigh in on it, and I'll get it on our agenda for Monday. Get you a proposal, I know what you're all saying, but I agree, you need,
The mayor,
you need
the mayor's,
a
she's
schedule of
looking
values.
for a schedule of values
If we
on
can
what the
help
budget
you-
numbers and the permanent project could work off of that.
Get
Without
it-
it, they shouldn't proceed.
Let me ask a question real quick,
Go ahead.
since you guys know this better than anyone. So is the goal to get the shovels in the ground
We'd like
in
to
December?
build the foundation before snowfall.
All right,
That's
which is
that
fair.
down.
So
That would get us in the spring for
can we look to
classes.
maybe do a temporary approval with the expectation that they will have a schedule of values that comes back to us from permanent project?
Right, I'll
You
get it on
understand
our
what we're
agenda
looking
for
for,
Monday.
and I understand what Rose is saying. Because
Absolutely.
typically, when you have a project, even though there's no other monies being asked for, there is usually a succinct process where there's one sheet that says, this is what our budget is, versus it, not to say that this is, necessarily not accurate, it's just that it's in piecemeal, right? So let's put it into one schedule of values so that it can be looked at, and it can be held as a document. This is what the budget is, and then we'll take that. I think we can do, if we have.
Deputy Mayor, what Dave's asking for, the schedule of values, and there is stuff that just came to light before it was at my office today, I gave him the letter. There is an issue with the concrete, with the walls and stuff that have to be built when they can do a monolithic pour and save 2/3 of the money.
Do we know what concrete does?
Yeah, so at the end
I
of the
could probably
day,
get it done less.
if we get the schedule of values and then come back to you,
But,
That
well,
would
that's fine. The problem is, 2 of these purchase orders right now are over the bid threshold.
No,
So
no,
they
I
have to
mean-
be bid, and what happens if those costs are more than what's
I'm agreeing
on
with
here
what you're
then?
saying. Sure, they're on the state list.
no, what I'm saying is I'm agreeing with what says, get the schedule of values, let them vet it out, then go back to the council, get approval. 1 month ain't gonna kill you, because
You
what
could
the
still, you'll be able
town,
to pour it.
well, one of the people in
Before
town are
holidays.
asking for in concrete is over what we need there. And it could save a lot of money and a lot of headaches for them down the road. So let's just do it right the first time.
So if you want me to get it on our, if you tell me
That
if you
would
want
be
me to get
great.
it on our
Yeah.
agenda, I'll get it on the agenda for Monday with any luck. And we'll get you a schedule of values where we're at, so you have it. You
I'd
need
be
it,
happy to do a quick special meeting if need be. We could do it over Zoom, and we can make an approval after your Monday meeting.
that's up to you guys. What,
I mean, I'm
you want me to get it on my
I-
agenda?
There's
Just-
no
I am-
need to rush here.
I am in,
I mean, I don't know where we're going, but there's no need to rush anything.
I'm sorry, why are you doing this? Why are you killing the kids?
We're not.
You are.
No.
No, you absolutely are. I understand the process. I totally understand the
No,
process.
you don't.
But yet, oh no,
You don't.
I
No, you
absolutely do.
You don't.
I understand the process. I totally am with you. I'm with them too. But you're killing the kids at this point. You're absolutely killing the kids. I'm
Ow.
sorry.
Ow.
What? They're trying to sit there and
Elaborate
do
on
something for the kids and for the school.
Okay.
And you're
I'm
killing
sorry
them.
if I got it, I just wanted.
No,
to
that's
no,
fine.
I'm sorry.
like your, I like your
this is
suggestion.
insane.
That's
Okay.
uncalled for.
This is totally insane.
I like your
Put it on your
suggestion. You
agenda.
can put it on your agenda for
Madam
Monday.
Mayor,
That's all I need to know.
Yep.
I'd just like to add one thing. I am in full support of this project. I think it's a great project. I cannot support it if we don't follow town procedure and things don't go out to bid. I brought it up before, and I'm gonna stand by it. So that's my only thing. Policy needs to be followed. It's there for a reason. So unless things go out to bid and we get bids back on this stuff,
We're not gonna bid materials from
Why not?
the
It-
hardware store.
Well, no, if it's, if it's,
We're buying.
no, if it's over $10,000, your invoice from, your purchase order for Brings End is $41,000. It's over the bid.
you're putting in
threshold.
5 doors, that has to be over the threshold as well.
It's not, it's 9,000 and change. It's not over the 10,000.
I want to, if it's donated, does it have to go out to bid?
No, but it's not
If it's donated, can it be donated?
It's on the state bid list.
So if you went
If it's
back
on
to
the
Rins,
state- if
if
it's
you
on the
went
state
back to
list,
Rins End
that
and asked if
that
it could be
negates it, so
donated,
it's fine.
can they do that?
5 overhead doors right now at Home Depot. Be under $10,000.
Well, yeah, but we also have Permanent Project Building Committee looking at this. So they, you know, we're not gonna put a garage door on there that you would have in a residence and then have to deal with all of the issues. I know, I'm just saying. So, I'm not insulting him.
Madam Mayor, what I'll do, I just talked to the superintendent, I'll write your schedule of values, your scope of work, send it to you, then back to the permanent project, we'll get this
Yep,
thing moving.
it's in their hands anyway.
They don't have the access to a timberline program, it'll take me 20 minutes.
That's fine.
So I'll
Okay.
have it on our agenda.
For Monday.
Yep.
That would be great.
Okay, listen, before I go, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and we're excited about a couple more things we're gonna bring forward. Really short grass, it's flat, 100 yards long, I don't wanna give it away. And then some manufacturing things that we're looking to do.
Has to go out to bid.
So stay tuned with this.
I'm sure it goes to bid.
You're not gonna need a lawnmower.
Bros.
Can I just add one thing, guys?
I'm with you. Bros.
With regards to the garage doors, the quote is quantity of one for 9,000.
No, it's not one.
Well, the quote's wrong now.
Well, that's what
Says
your
one.
purchase order says. So, I mean, that's what we received. So, we're just
It says
reading.
quantity one on there, so might want to get that updated.
So, okay. Next item on unfinished business is proposed donation of tractor pull funds to farms impacted by the August hailstorm. This was on our agenda last month, and Cliff Potter, who runs the tractor pulls, raised approximately $370 on his last tractor pull, and came before the council and asked that this be donated. And from our knowledge, there were 3 farms affected by the hailstorm, Ciccarelli's, Rosa Bianca, and Bishop's Orchard. So that would come out at approximately $125 each to the
We have one.
That's a clerical
um, for the money that was raised through the tractor pulls. So we just need a motion to move this forward if this is something that the.
Make the motion stipulated.
Second.
And I appreciate Mr. Potter for bringing that to our attention. Thank you for all you do. They're pretty cool pulls too, if you guys ever get a chance to go to them, they're very neat. It's a good event for North Branford.
Okay, the motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Abelson. Any further discussion? So Anthony, I just have one thing. What do they have to fill out a W-9?
I'm pretty sure I have information on file. If not, I can reach out to the various businesses and get the right paperwork in place.
Okay, all right.
So you want to do 125 each, even though it's going to be a little, yeah.
$5 short
Gotcha.
on there. I'll donate that if you need $5. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, now on to new business. Item A, authorization of proposed Eagle Scout project at the Miller Barn. As we heard earlier tonight, Bailey Salemi has a wonderful Eagle Scout project that she presented. I know she's been working hand in hand with the Historical Society and has also talked with Public Works Department as to what will be entailed and exactly what spot it's going in by the Miller Barn. So we just need a motion.
I'll make the motion that the town council in North Branford authorizes the Eagle Scout hay rake project of Bailey Salome as presented in association with the Totucket Historical Society to proceed at the town-owned Miller Barn located at Reynolds Beers property at 1740 Foxen Road, North Branford, Connecticut.
I'll second that. Good.
Okay, motion has been made by Councilor Diamond, second by Councilor Miller. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Congratulations, Bailey. You can proceed with your project.
Good luck.
Okay, next item is purchase of a new Dodge Durango for the police department. Okay. Chief Lovelace.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, once again. I've been working with the town manager, and this came up. There's definitely a need on the other town department side of a vehicle. We were in talks coming as we start with our budget process anyway. We were coming back to ask for 3 vehicles this year, one of them being a detective bureau, almost like an administrative vehicle, but they're set up differently. The vehicle we currently have is a 2016. It's got over 100,000 miles on it. It's coming to a point where it's not roadworthy for one of our officers to be driving. Our detectives are officers on the road that get involved in incidents around town. We have that vehicle replacement fund, and Anthony probably has the exact number at his fingertips, but I thought we were over 119,000 we have in the fund available for use. I do have what I believe to be a detailed budget in your packet there on state state contract pricing to not only outfit the vehicle but purchase the vehicle. So with the purchase of that vehicle, which is anywhere from an 8 to 10 week lead time, with all vehicles are, that vehicle will become probably available early spring for us, but we'd be able to get it the process started for us. So I'm looking for the support to go forward and make this purchase out of the funds available.
I'll make a motion. Second. Purchase a new Dodge Durango for the police department.
Out of the overtime.
Police vehicle use fund.
Oh, sorry, police vehicle use fund.
And the reserve fund.
The reserve fund. Second.
Is the, make sure it's the out-the-door pricing, it's hot, so it's 49. 49,645.
Yeah, tour pricing of 49,645?
Yep.
645.
Okay, the motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Palladino. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
I abstain.
Okay, 1 abstention. Motion passes. You're good to go.
Thank you, appreciate it.
To confirm the chief's numbers, he's 100% on target. The 216 in the fund, once you approve the CIP, 95 will come out for the first car, leaving about 120. So there's definitely 49 in there to beat this with.
Okay.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you for the budget.
Is it going to be your car?
Okay. Okay, the next item is the dedication plaque for the North Branford Police Department. So in our packet, we have the Permanent Project Building Committee has approved the plaque design. You can find it on page 40 in our packet. So we just need a motion to
Make the motion that the North Branford Town Council hereby approves the Permanent Project Building Committee's recommended design for the dedication plaque for the new North Branford Department of Police Services building.
Second.
Motion has been made by Councilor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. Next item, authorizing resolution for emergency management performance grant funds.
Yes, Madam Mayor, as you have in your packet, this resolution is required by the state of Connecticut's Department of Emergency Management, Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, qualifying for emergency management performance grant funds the town of North Branford is eligible for. Our Director of Emergency Management, William Seward, is currently preparing our application, which must be submitted no later than November 30th. So this is a standard resolution that they request we do, so it's been copied exactly as they require it. And this is the same language we've passed in prior years.
Okay, you want to read the
Yeah.
resolution?
Be it resolved that the North Branford Town Council may enter into, with, and deliver to the State of Connecticut Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, any and all documents which it deems to be necessary and appropriate. And further resolved that Michael P. Downs, as Town Manager of North Branford, is authorized and directed to execute and deliver any and all documents on behalf of the town of North Branford, and to do and perform all acts and things which he deems to be necessary or appropriate to carry out the terms of such documents.
Second.
Motion has been made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item is reconstitution of the Agriculture Commission. So this was on, we talked about this briefly at last month's meeting. There has been talk at other boards and commissions about the having an agriculture commission, which we have. We never got rid of it. It's just we don't have enough people serving on it. And then in looking up at it, there are things in it that needed to be changed because we violated state statute. So the town attorney did look at that, and he has made recommendations, but in order to change the ordinance, we need to have a public hearing to change it. And the biggest change, what was violating state statute, was that we do need to have minority representation, and the way it was originally written is it said that we weren't taking that into account, so it was a direct violation, so we need to fix that. And the other one is that originally it was made up that there was a council member as part of the Ag Commission as the 5-member board, so it's being proposed that we take the council member out and it's just a 5-member board of electors on there. So there is a motion in our packet to set the public hearing.
Make a motion that the North Branford Town Council will hold a public hearing on proposed ordinance 2024-2 entitled Agricultural Commission on Tuesday, December 17th at 7 p.m. in the North Branford Town Council Chambers at Town Hall, 909 Foxen Road, North Branford, Connecticut.
Second.
Motion has been made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Okay. Next item is on-call engineering agreements.
Yes, Madam Mayor, in your packet, the town has entered into on-call engineering agreements with 2 firms, Nafis & Young, Weston & Sampson, and those expired August 17th. They have provisions for 2-year extensions at the same rates, and that expires August 17th of 2026. These agreements were infrequently used, if at all, and to highlight the need for them, actually, that we would sometimes rely on them was highlighted when our previous town engineer departed. So in needing them as a backup, we've gotten new rates from them. They are attached in your packet. And I highlighted the actual line items where you can see the rate increases that they propose, both the 2022 rates and the 24 rates. And we're bringing that before you tonight for approval with those 2 firms.
Motion that the Town Council of North Branford authorizes Town Manager Michael P. Downs to negotiate and execute agreements for all on-call engineering services with Weston & Sampson and Nafis & Young engineers and surveyors at the rates presented in consultation with the Town Council.
Second.
Motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Next item is update on HVAC at the Edward Smith Library.
So, Madam Mayor, you have a memo in the council's packet where roughly 3 years ago, our Public Works Department has been logging over the course of that period of time about 50 different service calls at Edward Smith Library for failing heat or failing air conditioning. And Public Works has done their due diligence over that period of time, attempting repairs and making extraordinary efforts to effect repairs. We've shelled out about $48,000 in that effort right now, not to mention the extensive man hours that DPW personnel has put in. And Mitsubishi, the manufacturer of this system, has informed us that there's several essential parts of the system that aren't available any longer, which is complicating our efforts to be able to repair it. And they indicated their next step would be send a technician at a cost of $2,000 a day with no guarantee of a fix. So they assert the lifespan of these systems of 15 to 20 years. Just to refresh everybody's memory, Edward Smith had that major renovation take place, and that was part of it, and that was 16 years ago. So temporary heating and cooling solutions are estimated to be about $8,000 a month. So in consideration of these facts, we retained HF Lens Engineering to perform an HVAC assessment at the Edward Smith Library to give us options for repairing and emplacing. And I've got our library director, Lauren Davis, and Public Works Director, Fran Marola, to attend tonight to review these conditions at Edward Smith, give you further information and what our options might be.
Okay, the floor is yours, Franny and Lauren.
Good evening. You can stand right next to me. So I certainly wish I was standing before you under better circumstances, but as Mike has stated, we are experiencing significant mechanical issues with the heating and cooling system at Smith. Just to be clear, there are 2 units that run that building. It is just the upstairs, the main level unit that is currently down. The downstairs unit, which runs the entire children's department downstairs, is currently working fine. But again, they both were installed at the same time when the building was renovated 15 years ago. I would say about 2 or 3 years ago, we noticed an uptick in the number of issues that we were experiencing, ranging from error codes to leaks throughout the system to failing parts, equipment. Last December, we were down for 6 weeks trying to source a part, so trying to find replacement parts for an aging system is becoming problematic. And then June of this year, we went down, and we've been down since. Ken Ash from Public Works has worked tirelessly for the last 5 months trying to repair a system so that we did not have to stand before you saying repair will look less likely and replacement is probably something we need to seriously consider. I think that's important to stress. 5 months of just calls with remote support from Mitsubishi, contacting other companies that are familiar with his system, EEI. He even took classes trying to get specialized training and to get the proprietary software so we could go into the computer system. I don't think this is a position any of us want to be in, thought we would be in, but 5 months is a long time to try to resuscitate a dead animal, and I feel like that's where we're at.
And Mitsubishi's not backing it anymore. They don't have the parts. The parts are, we found some parts in there, but there's no more parts. I mean, they cost a fortune to get them.
It's a 15-year-old system, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think that a municipal system like that would be better than 15 years old. That's just a concern that we're gonna have when we look, not maybe going with Mitsubishi products, being that 15 years out, they don't have the parts and they're not backing. It's not
They
working.
rebuilt just about everything in there. The main units, they got, Mitsubishi did come out once, then they had, we had a service guy helping Kenny. I mean, they had completely ripped apart everything. They're not supporting it. And,
Yeah, but this has been going on for years, so it was 10 years old probably when it had started to have problems.
And I think this is just a system that's being constantly replaced with newer versions, so they're not going to support something that's version 1.0 when version 10.0 exists.
And then we thought we fixed it. As a matter of fact, like, told Micah, because we got it going again, and then the board blew out again, and then these boards are thousands of dollars.
And this facility is used often for heating and cooling facility, correct? I mean, when there's
Yeah, in
weather.
fact, because of the problems, we
You can't,
might
we've
have
had to take it
noticed
down.
we didn't use Edward Smith when we had
Yes.
over the summer for the cooling stations. We used just that water.
It's important that this is up and running. I know firsthand, and my wife is on the board of the library, and she's also expressed firsthand that it's a problem. And obviously, we have folks that are working there, so I think it's important that we support this being looked at.
So did we get numbers back from the engineering
We did
company?
not. The PO was sent out and everything, and we couldn't get a hold of the guy today. It might be tomorrow
Okay,
or
I mean, that's,
Monday, but, you know, I think the guy wants to, I'm sure he wants to freshen up the whole report that he's got. So this guy already came and looked at the system. We got it off the state bid. They came in free to come and analyze it. And then we paid to have it now not designed, but to come up with options. There's gonna be 3 options. One, fix what you have, the middle of the road fix, and then the
And he has the building plan, so he knows what, the shell of what he's working with. And I think he's gonna try to find,
and then, so he's gonna get us the numbers, and then once we pick it, then they'll design it.
okay. So, you know, my concern is the amount of money that we continue to spend on this. And I'm not so sure that temporary heating and cooling at $8,000 a month is a viable solution until it gets fixed. I mean, if it's working now and it's fine, great, but.
It's not working now, there is no heat, right, other than your electric.
so there's accessory heat with like radiant heat panels. Anywhere where that system could not support like extreme cold temperatures, they installed accessory heat, so we have that running. Some, like the kitchen has radiators on the floor, some rooms had radiant heat panels in the ceiling, some have wall units that are underneath windows. It's really a mishmash in that building. So that's running, and then we have space heaters. And it's doing the job, but it's also been 60 degrees.
Well, I just don't, my personal feeling is I don't think we should continue to spend that kind of money to try and keep the building open and have, when we have another library, I mean, we have temporary source and we're not, I mean, if we have to temporarily shut it down until we fix the problem, but I think we need to stop the bleed, the money
So
bleed.
we already stopped the bleed, that we're not, I pulled the plug. We can't, there's nothing to do.
I mean, as far as fixing the system, but there's
Right.
in here, it's the temporary, you know, like, I
Right.
don't think we should do temporary heat and air conditioning at a cost of approximately $8,000 a month until we get the numbers and figure out what we're gonna do. Like, what's your plan if it gets too cold in there, we can't do this? Is your plan
I
to
don't
shut down the
think
building?
the library wants to hemorrhage any more money to this system either, to be honest. I think we're in agreement with that. And we will go along with whatever plan the town council or town manager thinks is best in terms of fiscal responsibility. My staff, I just want to give them a quick shout out. I think they've done a very good job of trying to make do with the conditions in the building, ranging from 80 degrees in the summer to, you know, having to surround yourself by a space heater. So I think they are of the mindset that they want to keep the building open for the public, but we also don't want to just keep spending money and, you know, basically wasting it at this point, because it's not doing any good. It's not going to prolong the life of this building. So if we have to do a temporary shutdown because of extreme temperatures, I think we're fine with that as long as the town manager is. But I would say, I think we're in agreement where we don't want to do temporary heat.
We want
or
to fix
AC.
this.
Franny, what about pipes freezing?
Well, we have to keep an eye on that, obviously. I mean, where the water may, I don't know, I gotta talk, Kenny's away right now.
I mean, if you do a shutdown, it's not like you can just close the doors and say, hey, we gotta wait.
Still fun system.
We need to drain the system down, is what we probably would do. I mean, just so you know, the way the system is installed, I think that's part of the numbers. Listen, the number that is in that capital.
Well, I mean, that's why it's on our agenda, is because it's part of our CIP
I have
plan.
nothing to back it up. I just want
Correct.
to know.
It's a placeholder.
I put a placeholder in there, but honestly, you have to demo a large part of the building in order to do a system.
Because it's behind
You
the,
guys
it's behind the
gonna-
sheetrock.
Yeah, you guys gonna, it's probably a stupid question, I think I already know the answer, but I'm asking. If you, if they engineer a new system, I know we talked about it being all encapsulated in sheetrock and stuff. Is there a way for us to get away from that when we put in a new system, so we don't run in, so you don't have that?
That's the big question. You can't use anything of the old systems because all the Freon is different now, so all the pipes are obsolete now. And, you know, if we put ductwork in, you're gonna have to install it. It can't go downstairs. I'm curious to see what they really come up with.
That's part of the engineer process, once we get the numbers back.
To figure out how we're gonna do it, or what's the easiest to do.
So I guess if we had to, shut it down temporarily and we have the other library, and, we have the staff at Smith Library, is there, and this is, I know you have to discuss this with your library board and stuff, but could we extend the hours at Atwater? Because you open at 10 now, but maybe we can extend so that we cover some of those hours and staffing.
We would entertain, any possibility. I think knowing we're moving towards a solution makes us happy. I just think, the plus to having two libraries is that I don't think there would be, a lack of service. So closing one building is not as critical if there was only one building in town. So we could certainly have a conversation about staying open later, opening early, to make up for whatever temporary closure we might be faced with.
Okay, there's possibilities out there. And, the reason it moved up to the forefront is because the next agenda on our item is the capital improvement plan that we have to approve. And this is a major project. And and we know we have to do something about it. So the figure that's in our plan is just a placeholder right now, like Franny said, until he gets numbers back. But we needed to bring it forward to the council so that we could discuss it and see what we're going to do. It's not the final result because we don't have the numbers, but it's a discussion we had to have. Yep.
For Mike. So you said this building, we do use it for emergency, like a warming center and cooling, and we have for years, right?
We have.
So with that being said, is there any possibility of any type of federal, FEMA money due to the fact that, hey, this is a cooling center and we can't do it. This is a heating center. We can't. If it ultimately comes down to, hey, we need a whole new system and this is going to be an exorbitant, could that be looked into? That maybe there's something out there.
That's it's an interesting thought, which I would be happy to look into.
Yeah, right? It's the only building we're using up there. So I think it is important. I personally would like to see it keep online. It's a building that's utilized often by many folks up in the Northford section. So I'd like to look at this, diligently.
Well, but keep it online if there's no, you mean not close it down temporarily or
I think
what?
there's 8,000 a month. Is that a hard number? It's going to cost 8,000 a month to keep it going during, we're talking about during a hard freeze, right? We're not talking about just to keep it going.
It's a rental. You're bringing units in that's going to heat the building. Personally, I'd say you can operate as long as you can take it. If you get
I will say,
you got to close it.
Okay.
We're familiar to being without heat. Like I said, last winter we were down for 6 weeks, and thank you, and we were fine. I think it's something we've just become accustomed to, unfortunately.
It's harmful for the public to be in there.
Of course it is.
And we did it over the summer. We closed it down one day where it was particularly hot.
Yeah, I think if you have to close it down temporarily, but I'd like not to see it go offline and then things find a way to stay offline for longer than they should, right?
I think we're committed to fix the problem.
Let's fix the problem.
Yeah.
Because, we're taking the action to get the numbers and it's in our CIP to move forward, but I personally don't want to keep spending more money on a building that, and I think that's a discussion Lauren can have with Mike as far as how they handle it and what they do. We don't want to make it uncomfortable for the public or our employees on there, so when that happens, they can make the decision. That's your call on that, but I don't think we should be going out renting heating and air conditioning for that building while we wait to get a fix on it. We spent a lot of money on the system already, and I just.
And I can tell you that I'm sure that the option was not to be the option.
To repair?
It's big,
Yeah.
well, no, it's basically installing something similar for with a 15-year lifespan.
Yeah.
Which is,
Well, yeah, if it's this major of an expense on here, I think this is also another project we refer to Permanent Project Building Committee, which is kind of what we've been doing on any major capital, is just to have another set of eyes and ears. And, you know, Franny can be the conduit with them so that it gets done the right way so that we get the most life out of it on here.
so to explain the project, just real quick, I mean, it's not like we're putting a new boiler in,
No.
for that kind of money. This is, you know, we're gonna, it's major. I mean, you're gonna have to probably move hooks and maybe cover them all.
Yeah, it's
like
starting from scratch. It's not
Yeah.
a drop ceiling type situation.
So if the project was to proceed, how long would the library be closed?
Months.
We don't know.
What's the
Yeah,
guess?
months.
we have to wait until the engineering report
Yeah.
comes back.
Probably
It's just
months, though,
speculation.
Yeah.
I
6
still
months?
find it,
Probably months.
Yeah.
this building was refurbished 15 years ago.
I remember.
I find it kind of appalling that we're dealing with this. You know, any house, you have you have your boiler. I understand it's different usage, but you have at least 20 years on it. We're talking, this was 10 years it started having problems.
So those units are just, they're 2x2 units up in the
I get it.
ceiling.
I just,
And they're
it's surprising to me that the life of this product, regardless of them upgrading to a better system in another version, is acceptably 15 years. And in reality, 10 years, because that's how long it's been, because we've been working on this for so long. I just think that we need to maybe put some pressure on Mitsubishi, whomever also, to see if there's some, viable breaks that they can give us on a new system.
That's like almost impossible, because they don't even answer the phone.
Yeah, I know. Well, we won't be using that system again.
And the heating system in the basement isn't enough to cover any of the other building, part of the building?
No. No.
Because it's separate, it's just completely
Now,
separate.
the
It's just a
temperature
separate
drop is
floor.
amazing if you experience it when you go in there. You know, when I was in there in the summer, during the hottest day, I mean, you went downstairs and it was perfectly excellent climate, and you walk up the stairs and it instantly is a 25-degree flip. And it just doesn't breathe up into it.
So as we are building these different projects around town and adding different utility type components and maybe other components too, is now, and times are changing and technology's changing. Are we adding service agreements with all these facilities, like the police department, the school, rather than just rely on, okay, because that's pretty important going forward.
I had with the police department too, because
You're gonna see it during budget time, I see that.
No, but, yeah, but it's a must-have, because it's, the technology is so much different that you can't keep up with it. Yeah.
I mean, all the schools, that's big stuff.
Yeah.
It's all computerized.
But even so, when we,
We'll be voting on the next item.
get a replacement for the library, it's gonna be the same thing. The technology is gonna be different, and you have to be able to support it.
Gases are changed now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to propane based.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as bad as the news is, I guess it came at kind of a good time, because we're approving CIP and we might as well get it into the rather than wait
Thank you for the
until
silver
next
lining,
year.
Rose, okay?
So let's look at there's a little silver lining here.
Well, thank you.
And the Historical Society could rent out the Little Red Schoolhouse.
Right, with all of your
Because it was
renovations.
the first library in Northford.
You are always thinking. Oh, thank God you're here tonight.
You're gonna carry the books over?
Can we borrow your electricity?
Thank you. I know you did not want to hear this, so thank you for working with us to try to come up with a solution.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, so there's no action. This was kind of just to give us background information, the action piece is on our next item of business, which is the capital improvement project plan that we need to approve for 2025 through 29. So Anthony, I think
The key to the
you're
whole
on this
thing
one.
is on page 82 of your PDFs. And that has the yellow highlights, which reflect items that changed from the capital program that was part of the 24-25 budget to what we're proposing for the CIP. So again, page 82, it's the one with the yellow stripes on it. So starting at the top, working your way down, an additional one you'll see now on there is funds to replace the air packs for the fire department. We had tried to get the SCBA replaced last year through a Fire Act grant. Unsuccessful. We're going to apply again. It's a 95% federally funded program. This represents the 5%, 36,000 and change, and 688 would be a federal grant. Jumping down to the public works section, I know Dan and Fran are here. They can talk about the renovation and expansion program. You want to talk about that, cousin?
Sure. You want to hear it?
Come on up.
You want to hear it?
Sure. Hey, it's on here.
We do have a budget.
I know, it's quite detailed.
We have a detailed Yeah, so we're in the final stages now of design. And as you can see, all the numbers are black and white.
1.366 million, I believe, was the final.
I mean, this is obviously the takeoff of the whole project. We are in bad need of, we're out of space, unfortunately. I hate to bring it up to you. The bathrooms are not adequate at all anymore. We got guys out in trailers now, and with offices out there in the cold. And
Locker room space, lack of
locker room space, we have none.
As Dan had mentioned, it came in at 1.3 and change. I rounded to 1.5, figuring issuance cost, interest cost, any contingency, things like that. So that's why you see 1.5 in your CFP.
So it's, Franny's thing starts on page 119 of our packet is Franny's budget.
So this is, I mean, they got, the architects is actually doing a great job as far as.
Page 1 is a summary. They sum everything up into one page versus the 10-page version of, everything.
Right. But the 1.5 is because he upped it because of issuance. If we bond.
Yeah, issuance history is.
But this also ties into the talk that Adam gave us at the Finance Committee meeting, which is a discussion the council would have in regards to, do we want to self-fund the program in the beginning so you don't have short-term notes on here. This is a relatively small project when you come down to it. And to cut down on some of the cost, it would be, we could self-fund until we were ready. The project was done, and if we were gonna bond it or just self-fund it completely out of the budget.
I like that.
Out of the general fund.
Perspective on this, yeah. So, otherwise concurring other, other costs by not doing it as well.
Right, so that's, so this was not on our CIP budget, but we've spent the money for the architectural drawing, phase 1 and phase 2 in previous years. We allocated the money, and that's what Fran and Dan have done, and they're now to the point where they have the actual cost and everything is outlined, the design is done.
Yeah, they're doing the
mechanicals.
The mechanicals and all that's almost all done, so I'll have documents, that go through all the kids. And there's probably stuff in there that we may do, but we didn't want to commit to anything because we are very busy and,
Right, so this is all in with Public Works not doing any of the work.
No.
And if it works out that you can do some of the work, that would bring the cost down, obviously.
Yeah, when we put it out to bid, we could put like the excavation as an alternate and then choose whether we're doing it or they're doing it based on the price and time of the year.
Right, right.
That's good.
So would you put it at the same location of your DPW now?
Well,
It's a,
You knock down the whole building?
So we're
No, they're
renovating-
adding.
We're
It's in that back
renovating the
area.
old. That's why I said we're renovating the old and we're adding on, so the whole office area, that's gonna be a problem where we go, but the whole thing, all the bathrooms, everything's getting ripped out.
The actual the new building is probably the size of this room that we're adding, right?
Maybe, yeah.
And then we're renovating existing, so it's not, we're not building a whole new.
What's the rest of it, the locker room?
Yeah, bathroom, locker room, little cubicle for our division leaders.
Showers and locker rooms.
One thing
well,
I
they
can
have one
say is,
bathroom for all of them.
One bathroom
They
for
have one
20
bathroom.
guys plus subcontractors.
one thing I can say, guys, is I went down there and I saw the trailer that they're using, and it's an abomination. Those guys, our public works do a great job, and where they are in that trailer now is just.
Yeah, it needs to be fair.
Yeah, we gotta do something,
They do
right?
a lot of work and they save the town a lot of money by doing
We
the
don't
rest
have,
of it, so.
I like the idea of putting the
there's a
administration
women's
on.
locker room, you'll see it in there,
Yeah.
the floor plan is full, there's a
Right.
whole day to do.
I think that's a good idea.
So as you can see, so there's a detailed budget that, you know, you can look at later, but it is on our CIP so that we can, you know, include it when we, if that is our desire to have it on there, so that we can advance the project.
Did the bids make money though?
Right.
They surprised us, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus I had an Excel.
Yeah, don't use up all your favors on other projects.
Yeah.
Tip of the day.
Okay, so that is the addition to this.
Right, it was originally 1 million in your first version, now it's 1.5. Do you want to talk the other things while you're up there?
What's that?
You want to talk about the ARPA bridge and then the realignment of all the road programs?
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so the bridges went a little bit over. The project that we're doing right now is Jackson.
Robin, Jackson, Dogwood.
Dogwood, yeah. So that price is.
It was prior budgeted at around 483, and 650 is what it ended up coming to, truly.
So we have a shortfall there. Our capital is, we're drained. We took, to pay off the bridges. So the police part of it, which, because it took longer to do it, the numbers that we had didn't include traffic. So, we cut out 2 bridges. To make the budget work, we cut out 2 bridges we didn't do. And then we had 1 bridge that we had a couple of extras on it. It was
Yeah, there's some
concrete
heavy extras.
issue that ran over. So the total came to 749, 862 without any traffic.
Right, so originally we had budgeted, or it was asked for 500,000 of ARPA funds
Correct.
on here, and that's what we allocated for that. We were told the projects were ready to go, but it was a whole year before they started any of the bridge projects on there. So that increased the cost. The town engineer had come back and asked for another $155,000 of ARPA funding, which we gave to that, and now there's another $80,000 that, and they've already done it. They've already done the bridges, so the work is done, so we have to pay for it instead of looking at the cost as we went along and said, oh, you know what, we have to cut a bridge project out because we don't have any more ARPA funds. They just did them all. So unfortunately, this is the result of it.
So there's still two bridges that aren't, I mean, there's other bridges in town that weren't ready
Right.
to be done.
Right,
So,
but,
you know,
but on
we
the
still
list.
have the Harrison Road bridges hanging over us, but that, is gonna be a complete replacement.
Yeah, it wasn't worth putting 188,000 into it. It was only a 5-year repair, so.
And then we just cut Valley Road out, that was a kind of a newer one, so that helped us out with the, you know. Again, until you open the bridge up too, you don't know
Right.
what's underneath it. So-
Right, right,
There's a variable there.
right. So the result of all of this between, you know, what was presented to us during budget time as far as our road project of what's needed for the next 5 year for chip sealing and pavement overlay and all of that stuff. So that kind of got decimated by these projects because money is now being moved around to complete some projects. And, you know, all I have to say is now that we have a new town engineer here, I would hope that the town engineer and Public Works collaborate and work together so that we can work on these projects together and have the knowledge that both of them bring to the table so that we can get back on schedule.
And stop using chip seal.
Yeah, well, your road's not getting fixed now, Tom, because we're moving it all to.
I just figured that out.
Because they moved it all to Jackson and Robin Lane.
Well, if they touched it 20 years beforehand.
So,
Trust me
you know.
firsthand on that one.
So, sorry about that, but, you know.
We would have liked chip seal, let me tell you.
Not the chip seal he got.
That concludes the public works section. Down, if you move down to culture recreation, you'll see, again, as the mayor had mentioned, we have the replacement of the HVAC system. Again, worst case scenario, placeholder, could it be better, could it be worse, for $1 million number. Again, do we fund that internally? We probably have the wherewithal to do that. I just want to get it into the plan, so it's part of what you're focused on. And then the bottom section, as it relates to education, there was a bid, I believe that's later on your agenda, for the HVAC work for both the auditorium and Jerome Harrison School Gym. And those two are in there as well for the HVAC for Jerome Harrison. You'll see it was originally 140, came in at 103. Auditorium was not originally funded and came in at 171. So those, the yellow items on your page 82 are the changes. And again, as I mentioned every year, the only page with any consequences is the current year capital program. The outlying years really are just there for everybody's looking at, and they have no consequence. So the next step in the process would be to send this to P&Z for an 824 referral. They would hopefully act on it rapidly, get it back to you guys for your December meeting, and then we could bless this and put it to bed, and then pay the poor contractor who's been waiting since June for his money.
For the bridges, yeah.
So the guy's been super patient with us, and that's the game plan.
You ever put a lien on the town yet?
He calls regularly. I don't blame the guy. I mean, he's been very patient.
So on the HVAC system between Jerome and the auditorium, so I know we don't have to do this tonight, but originally we had budgeted 140 and the bid came in lower. So at some point in time, would we just make a motion to just move it to the auditorium project?
Yeah, that's what you have in front of you. Segregates that money, takes some of the money that was in Jerome Harrison and puts it towards the auditorium, and the balance coming out of that closing.
So this
It's already
automatically
been,
does that?
That already rectified it, yep.
Okay.
So the HVAC projects for Jerome and the auditorium, is that to replace, what is that to do? Is that to replace everything, or is it just replacing?
That's a question I don't know.
At Jerome, it was the gym, that was part of the
Right.
Board of Ed's
Right.
capital
Yeah. Mhm.
project. And that was the project that Scott, when he met with the town manager, that was the project he wanted to move forward on his capital list.
Right.
And we took paving, money that was originally allocated to paving 3 years ago that they didn't
Right.
use, and put it towards the project.
The reason
So it's
why-
only the gym at Jerome Harrison, and then in July, he sent an email saying that the air conditioning went out at the auditorium, and he didn't have any money, and he needed it fixed. So that's why it wasn't on here, because it wasn't in his capital plan that he presented originally.
Right, so my thing is, yes, I totally remember all this, is depending on what happens at the police department with the units.
Right.
If those units get replaced, can we use that
What do you mean use them?
on
What?
other
I mean, they're
projects
not-
in the town?
Well, I mean,
The police department?
Those units
Yeah.
aren't engineered for this.
It all depends if they could be used or not,
Yeah, I don't know
because we've already paid for them.
That's
Yeah, but.
nothing I
Who
know
knows?
about.
I mean, I'm
Yeah, I
bringing
But if
it
they're
up
under
because it's-
warranty and they swap them out, we wouldn't have anything
yeah, but-
at the police department. I mean, that's still under contract.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, that's
I mean, you're talking about hypothetically
It's a hypothetical.
if they
Let's hit
if they
that.
discover that the
Okay.
units are inadequate for the PD, so that we have units removed.
Well, they're 10-ton units.
But then we still own them.
Yeah,
Would
we
those
still
be
own
able-
them.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they
I
do
couldn't
that. I think
answer
they
that.
would switch, they would probably swap them out.
No, they would leave them.
I don't know.
They would swap them out.
We'll go on this one,
We'll
it's
cross
looking
that
like a
bridge when it comes
60-ton
across.
unit for the auditorium, and it's
Well,
20
no, I thought it
tons
was
for
20
the,
ton, yeah.
for a Jerome,
Yeah,
a 20
yeah,
ton.
that's-
But the
I
other
mean,
one's
it's just a
60 ton.
it's a
Yeah, 'cause, I
it's a
mean,
hypothetical.
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
the specs under F&F mechanical, like
It all depends.
council just pointed out.
Yeah.
This is
different
total
tonnage.
hypothetical.
Yeah, so it's a
We
good
find
thought, but
it
I don't think it would be
It's just a
viable.
thought to keep in our heads.
Right,
Find a genie lamp and work on that too.
I'm just saying.
okay, so do we need a motion
Please do.
to approve?
You need a motion to
Motion
kick
here?
it out to P and Z for an 824 referral.
Yep.
So,
Yep, it's
Hey,
It's
the
on-
motion, be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council instructs the treasurer/finance director to forward the capital improvement plan to the Planning and Zoning Commission for their review pursuant to Connecticut General Statute 8-24 and bring it back to this body upon receipt of their action.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Miller. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries.
Madam Mayor, can I
Hey,
just ask
you know?
the town manager a quick question?
Sure.
Small request, Mike. When you scan our documents in here, I've seen that we all have laptops now. Can you just scan them smaller and in the right direction so that we're not always going like this trying to
Yeah, but
read?
you can use the little arrow and
I-
just change
Those
the page
glasses?
that it's on, because
It
all the
should change
documents
your
are different.
orientation. Yeah,
Yeah.
the arrow should change your
Yeah,
orientation.
it
I
does.
don't even use the PDF documents. I use the paper ones and actually don't
You can
see
do
what's
this,
gets
Right.
sent.
Yeah,
Right
they're
here.
all like this, so we're all, like the page that Anthony was talking about,
The
the
little
yellow on it,
arrow.
it's all sideways,
The
and we're
little-
trying to.
Okay.
But our
Read it
thing's
like
a, you
So
can
you
change
turn
it, go
Yeah,
to view,
yeah,
go to view.
You can spin it.
You can,
Yeah,
yeah,
you rotate them.
yeah.
yeah, it's, you could fit all that stuff. You can spin it, you can turn it.
And it'll turn
Easier
that
if it's just
page,
scanned in.
so if it's one way,
Yeah.
it turns it the other way, and then.
Because we can
when you
zoom
get-
now, so it's, even if it's a
Yeah.
little bit smaller, we can.
Yeah, so
Right.
you can,
Where's the IT guy?
yeah, you just use the little arrow.
If you
Okay,
can.
so
Yeah, I mean,
now,
I'll look
So
into
we
it.
can teach everybody.
now we need to,
And Madam Mayor, we do need the approval on the bid for
yes,
HVAC.
the bids. So it's it's item I under H, the approval of bid number 25115 HVAC replacement for Jerome Harrison and NBHS Auditorium.
If you're prepared.
No, it's just,
All right, so, I motion to, accept approval of bid 25115 HVAC replacement for GHS and MBHS Auditorium.
and it's, are we awarding it to the low, I mean, to F&F Mechanical?
That's what we're recommending.
Okay,
Okay.
to be awarded to F&F Mechanical,
The bid cost is $243,500.
under bid cost of $243,500.
Okay, the motion has been made, is there a second? Who was that?
Craig.
Craig. Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Miller. Any discussion?
So that's for the North Branford Auditorium?
Yes, it's North Branford Auditorium, it's not the high school auditorium. It's Jerome
And the high
and the North Branford auditorium.
Auditorium, yeah, because it's connected to two schools.
Yes, it's
But
called
all in
North,
North Branford.
it's called North Branford Auditorium,
All right.
not North
I'll
Branford High
make
School.
that correction in my notes.
Okay, thank you.
Because I wasn't asking that.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Now we're on to financial report.
Financial report. Okay, Madam Mayor. Points I usually highlight for you: tax collection, 54.3% of budget this year, a little bit better than 53.5% last year. It's a favorable trend. Overall revenue, 49.5% collected versus 45.6%. Again, another favorable trend. On the expense side of the house, it looks like there's a few percentage higher. As I mentioned previously, we are encouraging folks to use purchase orders more this year, and you'll have a greater number encumbered. The insurance department that you see, and I mentioned the last couple of months being overexpended, I did detail to the Finance Committee. Overall, our insurance exposure is actually lower than we budgeted. When you look at the package of the liability, auto, and property coverage and the workers' comp coverage, both of those came in overall savings to the town. This piece, the liability, auto, and property, came in a little bit greater than budget. Thus, it shows as an over expenditure. Workers' comp came in significantly under budget. So the net is that we're up, but the way it's reflected on your budget sheet is that the property and casualty line is over expended, and that's the definition, that's the explanation for it. I did have a conversation with the purchasing agent as it relates to trends and experience, and he will have that all in time for the budget to come in with the whole process. The topic we're talking about is there's a big movement afoot in the municipal market that tort reform is needed, and some of the awards that are going against municipalities are pretty staggering. And several towns have increased their liability, their umbrella liability coverage. We previously had a $10 million umbrella. We increased it another $5 million this year. And there's talk that it might be warranted to raise it higher. We had a discussion at Finance. What's our real actual experience before we do anything crazy? Let's check it out. And Mike got sure he could, budget time, he'll come in with numbers, what the actual experience was, and cost it out. And whether we start at 15 and go from there,
Right.
or start at 10, they'll get that all for you for budget time.
The other thing we discussed at Finance in regards to the insurance is how often they go out to bid on the contract, and does it stay with the same agent and they bid the same, they go out to the same insurance companies, or every so many years do they expand the market and get, because I think those numbers should come back to us to see once exactly what those costs are on there. So that was part of the discussion at Finance in regards to insurance. So, okay, thank you, Anthony. All right, on to citizen statements and petitions. Any other comments at this time? No?
Make a
Okay.
motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving to all.